So while I'm waiting for people to come on, if you're watching this after the fact, of course, go to 00:00, where we will dive into the story, just in case you don't want to hear the chit-chat with all of the other junkies, you know. The other junkies who are going to be pouring into this stream quite shortly. We're not now, you can see, because there's no chat. So I feel foolish. I feel I have made a mistake. What have I done that this isn't working? We are live on Facebook. We are live on, looks like YouTube. Oh, there's some Facebook peeps. Steve, Ricky Berg. Sorry to hear about the bad news, bud, but welcome to the show, of course. Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, what up? Sean, what is going on, everybody? Look at that forehead gleam, you know? Got a big old forehead, you guys. I don't know if you noticed. It's hard to hold all these brains in. So it like pushes out, like, you know, when you have vacuum sealed steak or something that goes bad and it just starts to kind of swell out the package. That's what's going on in my noggin. Now, hopefully this doesn't, you know, pop and foul smelling beef product is all over the place. We certainly wouldn't want that. Wasty Moore, hello, how you doing? What's up, Dylan? Dr. Campbell. All right. Get your chit chat up here, you crazy foolses. Recluse Mage, you can't prove my head is not steak gone bad. That is a fact. Tyler, what's going on? What's going on? You got Megamind. It is a 5-head. It's a gleaming, glowing 5-head. Wasty, welcome. I'm not sure. There we go. I don't know if I've seen Wasty in here before. Hi, Don. What's going on? All right. We've got a couple of minutes. Once again, if you're watching after the fact and you want to cut forward to the story, fast forward to 00:00. And guess what? You don't have to listen to a damn word I say, except, you know, for the whole story part, which I assume you're tuning in for. Perfect timing. Think I'm getting a cold. A's got a cold, of course. When you live in a house together, one person has a cold, the other person probably has a cold. What's up, Martin? The timing's perfect. I've had 0 symptoms all day. And now here I am going to read to all of you fine, lovely people. And I'm like, I'm not going to make that noise. It'll make everything even worse. Edward Rocco in the house. How you doing? We've got, oh my goodness. People are pouring in now. Only one on Twitch. Sean's on Twitch. Joshua Laurie says, foul-smelling beef product is the name of my new grindcore punk band. Listen, you need bass tracks put down on that, buddy. You know who to call. I'll get my cousin involved. It'll be great. Now, I play the bass. My cousin's more of a front man, more of a performer, buffoonish, if you will. But somebody's got to make that show jump. Somebody's got to make the show jump. All right. We are about to get cooking with Slay episode 107, Death to Druids. After the episode on deep cuts, we're going to dive into what makes a compelling villain. Now, remember, hey, Steven, wait a minute, Steven says, I've got my IPA in a PUV James Keeling beer glass, and I'm ready for some more of that ding-dong big schlong. Aren't we all, bud? Aren't we all? Kim's in the house. Welcome, everybody. So, we've got a new thing going on tonight. In the last 2 weeks, we have stopped the stream after I finish reading Slay. Then we restart it, we go to another thing. What we figured out in the interim is with OBS and Restream. OBS is the video you're seeing now, sends it to Restream. We figured out we can actually have 2 completely different shows coded up. And so you're watching the first show. So when we get done with this, I will shut it down. It should only take about a minute to come back with the other one, maybe 2 minutes. But you are going to have to probably refresh the page if you're on Facebook to see that second stream come up. It might be no different than it was last week, but I don't know. Dr. Campbell says, Scott, did you see the list of female voices I sent? If not, look for it. I think it'll help. Where did you send that, Doc? I'd like to know where that went because I was just looking one up today. Today, you're going to get an angry, some, you know, crazy Cockney or Irish accent, except from the familial line. That seems unlikely based on what's going on. So you guys get to watch me cook everything live tonight. Tyler says, we can talk about Angus Cool. Baby girl, why don't you put that on the list of things to talk about? Because what a wonderfully compelling villain Angus Cool is. All right, what do we got? 4 minutes to go. Did I miss anything? Okay, if you're on YouTube, of course, slap that like button, ring that bell, make sure you are subscribed. Bunch of people on YouTube, that stuff really helps. And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or Facebook or even LinkedIn, great time. Leave a comment, like it, slap it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. Okay, Recluse Mage, we love the menu. I don't know what the hell that means, bud. Sorry, I might be drawing a blank. It's been a long day. A and I had an electrician come in. We have a new overhead light in my office. It's never had an overhead light before. It's great. Got some outlets put in downstairs for the recording booth. What else we got going on? A bunch of work. We're just like, you know what? It's time. It's time. I can't stand having no more. I don't have enough outlets and it drives me crazy. There's extension cords all over the place. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to pay the money and have an electrician come in. Oh, that's right, Recluse Mage. I am cooking it all up for you. Oh no! Girl, I must warn you. Did hear the voice of Mrs. Poundcake. No, not today. Maybe some. Dennis Fetter, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you in here, man. Oh my. We got a whole bunch of people going. So to repeat for all the new people coming in, read the story. Then I'm going to stop. I'm going to tell you we're going to stop the stream. And then I'm going to go do some stuff in the back. I'm going to take care of a couple of things. You don't need to know what it is. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And then I will come back on for deep cuts. A will be with me for that. And if you don't see us within 2 or 3 minutes after we stop Slay, then you just probably need to refresh your page. I don't know how it works on YouTube, but on Facebook, apparently you do need to refresh all that goodness. All right, 2 minutes left. Let's make sure I got my script up. I do. Stop, drop, and roll, or refresh. Stop, drop, set up shop. Rob, it is painful. If you guys look in the chat room, my 2 best pals from high school made variations on the same joke. Rob says it's painful to stop the stream before you were finished. And Dr. Daniel Bureau, PhD, says stopping midstream can be a chore. Good to hear you're doing well, Dennis. Steve Bloomfield says Scott has amazing control to be able to stop the stream midstream. You guys know I'm kind of ADHD a little bit. And A's done a bunch of research on that, which, of course, if you got a spouse who's got this going on, you learn about what that spouse is going on. It helps everybody get along. She has learned that people like me will sometimes sit in the office and have to pee for like 3 hours, but I'm locked in. I'm locked in on what I'm doing. So mentally, that's just sort of like off to the side. And then at some point, I'll get done with a chapter of the writing and reach a logical break, and it'll be like, sweet Jesus, I gotta go, and I have to run to the bathroom really quick. So there's no stopping that stream. That's what I was getting to. There's no stopping that stream. We are going also tonight after the episode when we do the housekeeping bit. Stick around, don't quit till I tell you, because we're going to show you the cover for the Crypt Book 2. I've been talking to the publisher, being like, dude, when are we going to get a pre-order link up for the Crypt Book 2? And they haven't answered yet, so it could be 2 months from now. I don't want to make you guys wait 2 months to see the cover. If it was going to be like a week or 2 weeks from now, I'd be like, great, everybody can wait, and we'll have the pre-order link up. But it is on its way, bitches. Let's get over to Maine. Let's get ready to rumble. There we go. There'll be a lot of throat clearing tonight, guys. Sorry. I'm sure Rob and Dan are both working on a joke for that. And I'm sure it'll be perfectly clean, this joke. All right. Let's get this set up. We are recording. Test. Looks good. 3, 2, 1, 0. Party! Yeah. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let us get into Slay episode 107. First, a small retcon. In episode 106, Icepick needed to get to the surface so he could use his cell phone to contact Vestinian. That was incorrect, as Vestinian gave Icepick a sphere, which allows Icepick to contact him at any time, as was shown in episode 100. Previously on Slay. The bounty hunter known as Icepick, one word, thank you very much, is hoping to track down the cursed armor of Sir Arnault the Pure, and thereby locate Callista's boytoy, Mercutio. Icepick's research set him on a path to find someone from the Verdant School of Magic. He thinks he has just the candidate. Now, to pay a little visit. Meanwhile, Lincoln, Dante, Billy, Mercutio, Faceless, who is the spitting image of Callista, and Magda, who controls said cursed armor and carries the unconscious bioarcaneist Cray-Cray Bray, have made it past the ironbane vines and the poison pool, and now they head toward their next test. They moved along the stone tunnel, leaving the stink of chlorine and rotting flowers behind. Somewhat, at least. The tunnel's smooth walls glowed with a pink hue. Billy could see the filament generating light. He wondered if the tunnels had been dug out by magic of some kind. Don't worry about it. He kept a tight grip on Mercutio's elbow. Not tight enough to hurt, probably, but enough to let the man know he had no choice but to come along. "Walt," Link called from the back of the pack. "If Merc tries to shout out an alarm or anything like that, punch him in the kidney. Real hard. And Merc, unless you want to be pissing blood until we either get out of here or I kill you and rip your heart out of your fucking chest, keep your clam taster shut." Billy cringed inside. For all of Link's strengths, and there were many, he could be a real dick sometimes. Mercutio was cooperating. Head hung low, shuffling along, but cooperating. "Mags, wake Cray-Cray up," Lincoln said. "She's slacking. We need her for the alarm mushrooms when we get past the gravity chamber." In front of Billy and Mercutio, Armor Magda kept on walking, her big fake Jordans keeping the heavy plate surprisingly quiet. "Cray's not slacking," Armor Magda said. "She's in a coma. I'm pretty sure she'll be okay, but you don't fuck with a coma, Link. She's hurt." "Join the fucking club," Lincoln said. "Seriously, Mags, do some of that healing shit or whatever. We need her." At the front of the group, Faceless / Callista, about-faced and strode away from Dante, back down the tunnel, past Armor Magda and the limp Cray-Cray Bray, past Billy and Mercutio, who both stood there, watching her stride along, long red hair bobbing in time to her steps. Mercutio let out a little groan. Seeing his lover's doppelganger hurt. Faceless Callista stopped in front of Lincoln, blocking his way, making him stumble a bit on his crutch. "That's enough," Faceless / Callista said. "Our friend is injured, Lincoln-san, and quite badly. This is your operation. You should take responsibility for your people's safety." Link straightened and sneered. "Are you insinuating her getting all noodle-brained is my fault? She supposedly knew what she was doing. She said the ironbane vines were no problem, remember?" Faceless / Callista reached out fast, unexpectedly so, snatched the clasp of Link's cloak in a tight fist, and pulled him close. "Lincoln-san, I realize you have a loved one in danger, but the rest of us are people too. Or do you still only think of us as monsters? As disposable monsters?" Link opened his mouth to say something mean, probably, but no words came out. His expression changed, lost much of his persistent anger. It was so strange hearing her talk. The tone and timbre of her voice matched Callista's exactly, but the manner of speaking was all Faceless. "You're not disposable," Link said. "Neither is Cray." Faceless/Callista nodded once, did another about-face, then strode back to the front of the line. Billy watched her go. Or was it watched him go? And here he thought Morganstone's gender was difficult to nail down. Faceless seemed to be able to switch to whatever the situation required. "Looks exactly like her," Mercutio said. "Have you ever been in love, Walt?" Delilah Droman immediately came to mind. Billy wondered if there was a simple way to say, "Well, there's this woman. She was 12, then she was 22, which I get because I was small, then I got big, and we both went through that because the one person in the world who was supposed to look out for it, because the one person in the world who was supposed to look out for each of us lied to us and hid who we were. So we've got this kind of connection thing, except she hasn't said a damn word to me in months, so I don't know." Delilah was gorgeous, smart, and she possessed dangerous power. She had put Teddy Two Fingers into a coma similar to Cray's, except Magda felt Cray would eventually come out of it. Teddy never would, because Delilah had melted his brain. "Yeah," Billy said. "Pretty sure I am. Or I was. Maybe. I don't know." The party moved on. Link stayed silent for once. The only sound coming from the back of the group was his crutch's tiny squeaks. Up ahead, Billy noticed a change in light. Billy noticed a change in the light. An end to the tunnel, probably. "I love Callista," Mercutio said. "She loves me. If I open that vault, she'll never forgive me. I'm screwed, and I didn't do anything wrong." For fuck's sake, was this guy trying to get sympathy? Or, even worse, trying to get Billy, or rather Walt, on his side? "You knew Callista kept Link's son on the shelf, yet you stayed with her," Billy said. "That makes it real hard to feel sorry for you. Guilt by association, you know?" Mercutio grimaced. "Do you know your buddy Lincoln has killed more people than the Black Death, and his dad is a genocidal monster? Talk about guilt by association. You've got it in spades." Link's dad, in the nursing home? A genocidal monster? What the hell was this guy talking about? Black Plague killed between 25 and 50 million people," Billy said. "I doubt Link's scoreboard runs that high. And, you know what? Never mind. How about you go back to shutting your trap, or I will punch you in the kidney like my boy told me to do." Billy knew full well how to punch someone in the kidney, or land a liver shot, or break a knee, or a foot, or throw a left-right combo that would knock out a horse. Billy knew these things because Link and Magda had taught him. "I'd rather you didn't," Mercutio said. "You know, without your bioarcaneist, you guys are screwed with the mushrooms. They'll know your copycat isn't the real Callista." That was a problem indeed. But Billy had watched Cray-Cray Bray's loom. Her filament possessed a certain, what was a good word? A certain frequency to it? Maybe he could replicate that frequency, use what Morganstone called loom mimicry. He had mimicked Kellius Droman's powers. Could he do the same with Cray's? Maybe. Morgan had said something else as well. If you don't learn control, you will someday kill everyone around you. Billy had to stay sharp. Another oops moment down here could ruin everything. Even if he didn't accidentally torch Link and everyone else, Vestinian might sense that outburst, detect it, like a Geiger counter picking up earthquakes on the other side of the planet. But what if Billy used someone else's loom? Loom mimicry. Could Vestinian detect that? "Gravity chamber is coming up," Dante called back. "Everyone, stay close." Billy glanced back at Link. The man moved along with his crutch, staring straight ahead, his eyes somewhat distant and unfocused. What was going through his mind? Had what Faceless said to him hit him hard or something? Link was so close to getting Callista's Dormantis, and after that, getting Sam off the shelf. Close, but dangers remained. Billy would not let this mission fail. He would not let his friend down. No fucking way. Whatever it took, he would help Link get that piece of Callista's soul. He just hoped they didn't have to kill Mercutio to do it. Such a contrast. A short teenager sitting on a stone bench, mostly hidden in his brown acolyte robes, and next to him, a towering woman who'd slashed her own forest green robes to reveal long legs and expose her midriff. He shivered with fear, as he should. She should have been doing the same, but the petulant girl instead stood with fists on hips, her jade green eyes glaring with defiance. "Who I sleep with is none of your business, father," she said. "This isn't the 1800s. Now, apologize to Adolphus." Oleus Oakbeard simply did not know how to control his daughter. Ophelia should have long since been married off to a powerful mage who could provide for her, who could protect her. Not that she needed much protection, he knew. At 2 meters tall and wielding deadly druidic magic, she could take care of herself. The bottom line, Ophelia wasn't interested in a proper marriage. She was, infuriatingly, interested in copulating with anyone who piqued her interest in the least. The girl was almost 30, yet she acted like a dryad in heat who thought of nothing but sex. How Oleus hated these conversations. "Adolphus is my apprentice!" He stared at the trembling teenager. "I will discipline him as I see fit." Oleus shook his fist. Sparks of lightning wiggled between his clenched fingers. "I will have my revenge upon this vile miscreant. His insolence will not stand. You, daughter, do not tell me what to do." She huffed, threw her hands up, started stomping around the castle's grassy courtyard. She wore her auburn hair up in a bun fixed with oak twigs, a fashion that made her look even taller than she already was. The ivy vine tattoo wrapped around her neck seemed to flutter in a stiff wind, as it did when she got angry, when she got insolent. The raven tattoos on both of her hoarsely exposed collarbones flapped in irritation. "Father, you have to stop threatening to murder everyone I sleep with." "That would be easier to do," Oleus said, "if you didn't sleep with everyone." Ophelia stopped cold. Fists returned to hips. Eyes painted with far too much green and blue makeup squinted in anger. Her upper lip curled, revealing the Pictish runes etched in silver on each of her white teeth. "Father, how dare you?" She pointed to the cowering Adolphus. "He's not a vile scum. He's a nice boy who works hard to learn what you teach him." Wavering beams of emerald light fluoresced from Ophelia's hair and eyes. The same thing had happened with her mother when she had grown furious. "If you kill everyone I sleep with, you will have no students left." Her words cut into Oleus arrowheads that blossomed into shame. He turned in place, looked to the wide carriage entrance that arched between two pointed stone towers. There, Piotr, Esmeralda, and Thalen had been pretending to work, pretending to repaint the transit sigils lining the arch. They weren't pretending to work anymore. They seemed frozen, an ink pot in one hand, a raised stylus in the other. They stared at Oleus in wide-eyed shock. "All of them?" He gestured to them with one hand, to Adolphus with the other. "You have lain with all of my apprentices?" Ophelia threw up her hands in exasperation. "Well, yes," she said, "but not at the same time." Her rebelliousness would be the death of him. Oleus couldn't kill all of his students. Their families paid good money for his tutelage. With the Bastion supposedly planning to shut down bounty hunting, he needed every piece of silver he could get. "All of you, get inside," he said. "Stay out of my sight." Adolphus took off like a shot. Piotr, Esmeralda, and Thalen dropped their ink pots and ran for the main hall. "Father," Ophelia said, "you are so embarrassing." She thought he was embarrassing. Oleus slid the sleeves of his green robes to his elbows, exposing his own crude tattoos. The pack of wolves on his right forearm, a wild boar on his left. "Daughter of mine, enough is enough," he said. "Your life as a trollop will—" The carriage arch flashed with burnt orange light. A car rolled through that light. A roundish white vehicle with red and blue stripes running up the hood and under a white circle with a number 53 in it. The car skidded to a stop, tearing up streaks of grass. Music played from within, audible through open windows, something with haunting strings and a singer talking about Tuesday afternoon. The driver shut off the car's engine. The music stopped. While Oleus did not have visitors here often, it was not unheard of. People who wanted to hire him for various tasks often didn't want to call on the phone or make contact in any way that might be traced or overheard. The rundown castle nestled in the forested hills of New York was, as Ophelia liked to say, located in the middle of nowhere. The only reason people came here was to see Oleus. Or, perhaps, to try and sleep with his daughter. And why shouldn't they? Getting her into bed wasn't exactly Brian Brow's victory at the Battle of Clontarf. The car itself shimmered with meshwork and wavering filament. It was no simple automobile. Oleus couldn't tell what it was exactly, but he knew it was a threat. "Ophelia, fetch the apprentices," he said. "Quickly." For once, his daughter obeyed. She rushed to the main hall. Oleus tapped fingers to thumbs, traced patterns on his own skin, starting a summoning spell. The car door opened. A man stepped out. Unfolded out was perhaps more accurate. He was too tall for such a compact vehicle. Black sunglasses, a black leather trench coat atop a gray turtleneck sweater. Black jeans, black cowboy boots. There was only one person Oleus knew of who fit that description. "Would you be Icepick?" The man smiled. "My reputation precedes me, it seems," he said. "Oleus Oakbeard, I presume?" This was not good. Icepick's prowess as a bounty hunter was matched only by the likes of Finish the Job Johnson. What do you want, Icepick? Do you have a contract for me? Hopefully, he did. When you owned a castle that was both haunted and all but collapsing in on itself, cash flow was always an issue. Ophelia came out of the main hall, 2 robed students trailing her on either side. They did not run. They did not panic. Good. No sense in frightening way business. Well, 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 Icepick said. Would that tall woman be your daughter? I've heard tell of her beauty, but the stories, and there are many of them, don't do her justice. A thinly veiled slight on Ophelia's honor? Oleus would not allow such insolence. I am in the middle of training my initiates, he said. I will ask you one more time. What is it you seek? The bounty hunter tore his eyes away from Ophelia and focused on Oleus. I'm looking for Dante Oganov. Do you know where he is? As if Oleus needed to be reminded of that debacle. The man in gray and Callista, who had both slept with Ophelia, had won that day. Oleus had been lucky to escape with his life. I do not know of the goblin's whereabouts. Darn the luck, Icepick said. Well, that's all right, 'cause I have another question for you. You are of the verdant school, yeah? I need you to show me how to track cursed armor made by the Bashim. Track it and fight it. Tell me how to do that, and I'll be on my way. The Bashim? Evil, black magic charlatans of a day long past. Perhaps there was business to be done, after all. Ophelia hurried closer, stood at Oleus' side. I believe the first question you asked is of no real importance to you, she said. You came here to ask the second question. Father, tell this man to leave. Ophelia was most perceptive, yet another trait she had inherited from her mother. But one could not let uncomfortable feelings stand in the way of business. I will do no such thing, Oleus said. Icepick, you are in luck. I know exactly what you must do. For the most reasonable fee of 100 gold, I will share this secret, one known only by the most powerful of Druids. The black-clad bounty hunter's smile widened. Trouble is, Oleus, I'm a little short on gold at the moment, and even shorter on time. You're going to tell me what I want to know, right now. Icepick wiggled his fingers. A long shuriken spike appeared in each hand. Or there will be problems. There already were problems. If this man's reputation was to be believed, he was as dangerous as they came. But Icepick had made a mistake. This was Oleus Oakbeard's home. Oleus Oakbeard's domain, and woe be to those who dared challenge him here. Apprentices, arm yourselves! As he finished his finger-tap summoning spell, Piedor, Esmeralda, and Thalen drew gnarled wooden staves from within their brown robes. Adolphus reached into his robes. Each hand came out holding a peacemaker revolver, filament-imbued weapons provided by his rich parents. Ophelia threw her hands forward, as one might do to shake away water. A pair of carved, rune-dotted deer antlers appeared in the air before her. Velthorn and Bramblekiss, weapons fashioned by her mother. Icepick's smile faded. Do you really want to do this the hard way, Oakbeard? Oleus spread his feet, let lightning spark between his fingers. From behind the castle's steep roof, 4 crattlebats rose up, their double sets of wings buzzing, their double sets of 2-foot-wide wings buzzing in a blur, their steel blue beaks parted, the sickle talons of their thick legs flashing in the afternoon sun. The iridescent beauties arced over the finial and began to descend. "You are outnumbered here," Oleus said. "This is your last chance to leave unharmed." Pause while I block this asshole from the stream. Bye. Back to it. Icepick sneered. "Herbie, sick 'em." The car suddenly burst. In the span of a single heartbeat, its expanding flesh formed and solidified into log-thick legs, a gleaming, spiked, prismatic shell, and the scarred, battering ram head of a snapping turtle. Gods, a Dimortuga, huge and vicious. The beast's neck extended, the thick head shooting whip-fast at Pietor. He blocked the attack with his staff, but sheer force sent him flying backward to smash into the main hall's stone wall. "My darlings!" Oleus called out. "Attack the turtle!" Ophelia's growl was that of the cave bear. Vivid blue energy lashed out from her raven tattoos, danced across the grass toward Icepick, who dove to the side, flinging his spikes as he did. Ophelia cried out in pain, a cry that distracted Oleus. He saw her fall to the ground, a meshwork sizzling steel spike jutting from each shoulder. His daughter. Oleus would slaughter this man. "I will have satisfaction!" He burned mesh, shot straight into the air, saw the bounty hunter on the ground, rolling to his feet. The Craddlebat streaked toward the Dimortuga, their raw screams of fury slapping off the stone walls, as did the reports of the huge Peacemaker revolvers and the thrumming sizzle of magic ripping forth from wooden staffs. Icepick's hands flashed. As Oleus conjured up an icy wind to rip the man's flesh from his bones, a Craddlebat squawked and lurched, started to tumble down even as a second one dropped like a stone, a spike through its head. Then a third fell. Then the fourth. Icepick had killed them all from 100 feet away, throwing death with unbelievable speed and accuracy. The clack of a big beak. Esmeralda screamed, her freshly severed stub of a shoulder spraying blood. Oleus sensed meshwork hurtling toward him. Driven by instinct born from centuries of training, he shifted his wind attack into a defensive shield, pushing the incoming spikes aside. But realizing too late, they weren't meant to pierce him. The spikes exploded with shuddering force that hammered him like a pair of slaps from a mountain giant. He realized he was falling, pushed the air beneath him, but too late to stop him from hitting the ground hard. A third slap that scattered his thoughts. Thalen screamed. The last sizzling sound of druidic magic died out. The world spinning around him, black spots dancing in his vision, Oleus pushed himself to hands and knees, only to feel the cold steel of a sharp blade press against his throat. "Now you stay real still," Icepick said. Oleus heard a muffled, gargled cry for help, then a wet, grinding sound. He knew he should stay still, but he couldn't help but look. By the outer wall of the main hall, the Dimortuga snap-chewed on a pair of severed legs, each crunch making the limp feet jiggle like the toys of a child. Fresh, bright blood covered the turtle's war-scarred head. On the ground beneath them, a legless, gurgling Adolphus tried to crawl away using only his hands, fingers clutching weakly at the ground. "You bastard," Oleus said. "It is eating my student!" A strong hand grabbed the collar of his robe, yanked him to his feet. The razor-sharp steel never broke contact with his neck. Yeah, well, I warned you I was low on money, Icepick said. I haven't fed the poor guy in a while. He's hungry. As Oleus watched, the Dimortuga gobbled down both legs, then lowered its head. It snatched Adolphus's body and started snap-chewing, snap-swallowing him. The poor lad didn't even have the strength to cry out. With a sickening crack of bone, Adolphus's head and one arm fell to the grass. Sorry about that, Icepick said. Now, I should tell you about those spikes in your daughter's shoulders. Those are hinohari, which means needle of fire. If I will them to ignite, or I somehow lose consciousness, she'll cook like a marshmallow dropped into a fire. You tell me what I want to know, and she lives, and I'm out of your hair. I am a man of my word, Oakbeard. Oleus tried to think of a spell that would save him and Ophelia both. But sharp steel to one's throat has a way of clouding one's thoughts. The huge Dimortuga, jaw snapping, blood dripping from its beak, quickly moved to Pietor, who looked mostly dead. Mostly. Herbie, no! Icepick shouted. Do not eat that man! The Dimortuga didn't listen. It bit Pietor's head off, gobbled it down in one gulp, then started snapping at the decapitated body. So much for that regular tuition money. Oh, bother, Icepick. Oh, bother, Icepick sighed. You know, sometimes Herbie doesn't obey, especially when he's really hungry. Now, look, he's not supposed to eat people, but, you know, he's a little hard to discipline. I mean, look at him. You think you can whack that in the snout with a rolled-up newspaper? Forget about it. But come to think of it, if I was you, I'd start talking before he finishes off your students and moves on to your daughter for dessert. Oleus grew cold inside. He could not let this man, or that beast, further harm Ophelia. You have won the day, Oleus said. I will teach you what you wish to know. There we go. Michael Moore says, smack that like button like a waitress smacking a rude drunk. There you go. Little smacks for everybody. Cobalt says, Icepick is a double threat. He is a badass and very intelligent. And Rob and I, you know, as we're creating this, Rob and I, we know that Icepick definitely comes across like a badass. I think we did a good job with that. But we just haven't had a proper action sequence for him. So you could see what the motherfucker could do. And motherfucker got skills. He's a very skilled man, very fast. And if something crazy happens, like Link and Icepick having a showdown at the end of this book, I don't know what's going to happen. Recluse Mage says that was a painful episode because of all the crunching and decapitating. I think that might be why. Dr. Campbell says that was awesome. Cam Hansen says, darn, more, please. Steven says, wee. Rob says, less than a 40-minute read. We are getting better. Yes, because there were 2 whole extra scenes that were supposed to go in this episode, and they just got bumped to 108, which bumps 2 or 3 scenes to 109. So you guys are just getting more and more and more. All right, let us get to housekeeping, everybody, and we're coming up on number 1, the cover of Void Strike, the Crypt Book 2. And number 2, we're going to shut everything down, restart. Super fun conversation A has lined up for what makes a compelling villain. Maybe we'll talk about Facepick. Why is Facepick an enjoyable villain in this thing so far? Let's discuss. So here we go. Housekeeping. Sunday, August 3rd, Slay episode 106, A Dip in the Pool, went live in the feed. Tuesday, August 5th, Deep Cuts episode 62, How Scott Chooses Character Voices, went live in the feed. That was last week's Deep Cuts. Hey, baby. Sunday, August 10th. Tonight's episode, Slay 107, Death to Druids, goes live in the feed. And Saturday, August 28th through December 1st, Empty Set returns to Dragon Con. One for the Junkies is back, baby. Should be late Saturday night. Schedule isn't set. We actually did get our schedule earlier today, but we didn't have time to work it in to this show. So, gosh, so many burps. So, we will be talking about our Dragon Con schedule next week. Any of you motherfuckers go to Dragon Con, I expect to see you at the One for the Junkies panel. We're going to come up with some crazy, crazy shit. Saturday, September 6th, the Junkie Meetup, hosted by Steve the Iceberg Riegenberg. I have not updated the graphic, so we will get to that later. And any deep cuts topics that you would like to hear, ladies and gentlemen, whoops, shore me. Send those topics, those ideas to info@emptyset.com. Make sure you signed up for the text list. We're over 1,200 people on the SMS list now. It's working out great, super fun. That is 855-955-5095. Sugar Plum, your mic is live. I did not get your headphones, though, so
that's okay.
Figured out. Thanks, honey bunny. And let's see what else we got going on.
Oh, look at this. It's so easy now.
It's so easy. It's so easy to fall in love. And then, of course, the newsletter. Newsletter's been pumping. I went like 5 months without a newsletter. We've had 2. This month, 1 last month. That's right. And we're also going to send out a newsletter to give you guys a better look at the Void Strike cover, which we're going to take a look at right now. Steve the Iceberg Rickenberger says One for the Junkies is Saturday, 11:30 p.m. at Dragon Con. Now, I know some of you like to drink at Dragon Con.
Can we make me visible?
Boop.
Okay, great.
Right there.
Before you talk about drinking at Dragon Con, I will say Scott is also on the panel right before One for the Junkies. And all I'll say is that's called Blood Feud.
I'm on a show called Blood Feud, guys. I'm going to win the Blood Feud. What I was saying was, I know some of you. Now, some people have been seeing us at Dragon Con for years. You got a little older, a little more thoughtful, a little more responsible, a little long in the tooth. You wake up in the morning and you somehow hurt yourself while sleeping. You sneeze and it damages your back. I know how it goes. We're there with you, okay? But if you like to get your drink on at Dragon Con, you can show up to that panel half in the bag. Not 3/4, not all the way in the bag, right? Because I don't want you to be a buffoon when I'm trying to be a buffoon in the front of the room. Okay?
I'm glad you said it.
There's one buffoon, there's one sheriff in Buffoon Town, and he has 5 head. Okay? But we're going to drink at the panel, and then after the panel, unless A and I need to go the fuck to sleep, because it's very late.
It will be 1 a.m.
It'll be 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So you guys all got to be there. Yeah, Tony, go. It's super fun. Just go. All right.
And I will say, in case anybody is thinking about it, Dragon Con, I think you can still buy tickets to literally the day you should, or at least right now you can buy tickets, and you should be able to buy tickets on the way to the con if you are able to go. Unlike San Diego Comic-Con and some other cons, there will be tickets available, and you can join the fun.
Let's switch over to this camera. I'll get that. Hold on. Okay, good looking. Dang.
Thanks.
Tell
Did you
what.
put this somewhere safe?
Yep.
Thank you.
In my belly.
Well, okay.
Scotchy, scotch. Get in my belly. Okay, let's get home. Main. Okay, that's not quite as good as I thought it was going to be. Give me a second to tweak that doll. I think that's...
Down a little?
No, it's down as far as it'll go is the problem. This will work, I think. Let me see if I can pull this a little bit farther here. This is polar opposite of me. Does that look? I think you can make that work, right? Or
yeah,
you want? I see you had to lean over. Okay.
Tilt that down or no?
Let's try it.
Let's try it.
Oh, I'm totally teasing you all. I totally forgot. Sorry. I'm sorry I forgot. We're going to show you the cover of Void Strike. Ladies and gentlemen, the only people who've seen this so far are those who were at my highly successful San Diego Comic-Con feature panel. It was great. But you bitches, no, Recluse Mage, 1 sec, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the cover for the Crypt Book 2 Void Strike. I don't know what size screen you are looking at, but if you look in the right side of this image, that's the PUV James Keeling. And those are Octhera landing craft coming in to land on a ship that I will not tell you what that ship is. So we've got Raider boarding action again in this. We've got torpedoes flying all over the fucking place. We've got the mud. We've got it's nuts.
The mud is my favorite
The
part.
mud gets crazy.
Is so crazy because I, especially in the last handful of years, have had a few days where I'm like, what happened to me?
Yeah.
What happened to me? I never went in the mud. The mud doesn't exist for me, but something happened to me.
Side note, before we begin deep cuts, which we're about to do, I had friends in college who experimented with mind-altering substances. And you're like, Sig, you want in this? I'm like, fuck no, I don't want in this. I can barely control all the shit that's going on in my head right now. All the story it is, if I do that, it's not going to go well. So I would not fare well in the mud either.
Me neither.
My whole life is,
And I also, I've told you guys many times on our podcast and stuff that I don't sleep terribly well. And so I sort of feel like the mud is sometimes when you have to be like, it's okay. And I am standing up out of bed in my pajamas holding, I don't know, like my water bottle and a comb. And he's like, just go back to bed. It's fine. I feel like that's kind of the mud.
Yeah. A lives in the mud quite a lot. Okay, so there's your treat, guys. We're still waiting to hear back from the publisher. I'll probably send this out via a newsletter. Let's get back to Maine. All right.
So can we start recording?
No.
Oh, do we have to stop the cast?
We gotta
I
switch
didn't
over.
realize that didn't happen because I was coming
All right.
upstairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to shut this motherfucker down back in a couple of minutes. It might be as little as a minute. If you're on Facebook, you may have to refresh the page to see it.
Almost
We will blab for a little bit so that, and we'll make sure everybody's back on. But it's going to be a fun conversation. So join us for the next cast. Let's switch back to here. And I got to go. There's some things I got to do to it before it'll be of any use to you. Hold on.
We'll see you in a minute.
The Googles.
Come on back and join us.
Back in just a second. Join us.